Hey, welcome back to the Road to Happiness podcast. We're your hosts, Josh and Cassie Spurlock. If you're new around here, we talk about all sorts of stuff on this podcast. Cassie and I founded a counseling practice, a Christian counseling practice called My Counselor Online, developed a model of therapy called Neuroscience-Informed Christian Counseling. And in this podcast, we look at what is neuroscience-informed Christian counseling, or NIC, have to say about your happiness in the various areas of life and how to experience that abundant fullness of life that Jesus designed you for. So, today we got another random topic that we're talking through. Came out of some conversations that had recently with some folks that are just some the really high-performing, driven individuals. You know, the alpha male that is growth-oriented, wants to develop their capacities to their fullest extent, wants to perform at the highest level, wants to make the impact in the world that they're supposed to have, and they are the go-getter type. But oftentimes
when you have a very big strength, there's also a challenging shadow side.
Totally, 100%. The stronger the strength, the longer the shadow is what we say. And in that shadow side, sometimes there's a pride or an arrogance that actually gets in the way of the alpha male really thriving in all the different areas of their life. So that's our topic today. That's what we're going to talk about. I want to thank our sponsor, My Counselor Online, a leading provider of faith-based mental health online. And yeah, let's dive in. Do you know any?
I've met a few.
She's thinking of you, John, right now. Listening to this. That's who she's got coming to mind. Talking to you. This whole podcast is inspired by and written for you.
Oh, that's
It's
funny.
only partially true. Yeah, so I'm kind of a driven individual. I think a lot of entrepreneurs are.
Yes.
Those that are, I don't know, maybe dumb enough, bold enough, something.
Crazy enough
To believe that you can create something out of nothing and kind of endure the pain and the difficulty that comes along with that.
Which
it takes a certain kind of insanity, I think, to really do that.
It takes a certain kind of insanity, but it takes a certain kind of assertiveness and passion and power to keep that moving forward, even in the midst of difficulty.
Yeah. And my journey with mental health was definitely, I think, one that isn't uncommon to a lot of really driven folks. I think early on, even though I was in the mental health space, I had a lot of blocks in my own process and story for connecting with help. I think one of those things that is common is, we tend to think of ourselves, I'll just put myself in that category, as, being kind of smart, and that sometimes we're too smart for our own good. Like we have difficulty receiving direction, receiving care, receiving challenge from people that we don't have a high degree of respect for, and
somebody that you can't banter wits with, it can be hard to receive from them.
Yeah.
But you know what? Sometimes that's really the people God uses. Somebody who's got some other high skills, but in a different area.
Right. Specifically, we were thinking, and having discussion around this idea as it pertains to some of the roadblocks for really high-performing individuals from benefiting from or reaching out for therapy. Now, on the one hand, I think most high-performing folks, if you ask them to reflect on the other high-performing folks, whatever the field is, whatever the genre, you would identify that the way people become really competent, really strong, really at the top of their game is through the input of others. Like every top performing athlete has not just a coach,
a great coach that's in their space and challenging them, and they're letting themselves be led by.
Yeah, and a whole group of folks. Like high performing athletes do not have just like a coach. They have multiple coaches and physicians and mental health experts that all speak to different aspects of their game and help them develop. And they could not perform at their best without that. And so this is true in the business world with executive coaches and mentors and training. Like people in every field benefit from having experts in their corner that help to challenge them, right? That have skill sets and strengths that they don't have.
It's just how we learn.
It is. It is how we learn. It's how we're shaped. And it's still really challenging.
Yes.
Like, you know, when it comes particularly to mental health, emotional health, relational health, and relational skills, EQ, emotional intelligence, these things that, you know, sometimes, you know, your real strong personalities will see as like soft skills of sorts. You know, they want to diminish those things, and in part, I think we diminish them because they're just not good at them. We tend to want to diminish that which we're not. We
hope that it doesn't really matter that much because it's intimidating.
Yeah, because we're really not all that good at it. And we just kind of want to avoid things that we're not good at. That's why I avoid golfing. You know, I'm terrible at golf. Like, you call me up and say, hey, Josh, you want to go golfing? I'll be like, I will drive the car.
That actually happened. A friend invited you to a really lovely golf course and you had to decline. You're like, I'll just shame you. Can I be your caddy?
Yeah, it's like, listen, dude, you really don't want me to be part of your scramble. It's not going to be pretty. But I'll drive the cart. You know, I'm here for a good time.
Yeah.
But I'm not who you want on it. But if I took a bunch of lessons, got really good, and could like crush, you know, my friends on the golf course, I would want to golf all the time.
Crush your friends?
I would want to golf.
That's where you go with that?
All the time. That's right. You know, I would be like, let's go golf. I will show you what's up. So we tend to avoid that which we're not like competent or confident in that space. So it's easier to like make fun of mental health or relational health and minimize its significance because it's an area where we don't feel confident or strong in.
And additionally, if we had grown up having somebody with soft skills in our life investing in us, it would have shaped us very differently. We would really value that. We would see it. We would understand it for what it is. And so it can be very new.
Totally. There's gaps there in our experience where oftentimes guys where this is a struggle just did not have that as part of their own experience. So they didn't internalize it growing up. So they've got those wounds to navigate and those gaps to navigate in order to develop into their true self, experience the true happiness that God has for them. But there's also this sense that we get too smart for our own good, in that we, because we're super smart, think that we know what it is we need. And we actually can be a really poor judge of what it is that we need. Like, it's our blind spots.
Yeah.
Like, by definition, you can't see your own blind spots. And so if you knew how to fix yourself, you would have already done it and you wouldn't be needing help.
Yeah. The people in your life, they can see your blind spots.
It's true. They may not know what to do with it, but they do experience and see your blind spots. And so where this shows up a lot of times is, you know, guys will think that they can only work with a counselor that can match their energy. And there's a lot of value in that. You know, I like working with guys that I match energy with, and we get a lot of really meaningful and productive work done. I work with a lot of executives. I work with founders. I work with ministry leaders and kind of leading significant high impact initiatives in the kingdom. And I enjoy being with them, relating to them, and working through life's challenges with them. And I have found that in my own journey, in my own work, the therapist that I've worked with for 5 years now is not that at all. Is very different than that and very different from me. And that difference has been incredibly significant in my own growth process. That the ways in which my therapist is different than me actually helps me in my growth and my development. That he's got something to offer that I didn't have before because he is different than me. That was super useful in my own journey, in my own process. And so a lot of times when I'm wanting to talk with guys and they're like, man, I need a therapist that's like this.
I need them to just tell it to me straight, and give me homework, and let me do these things and check these boxes. And
yeah, we got it all figured out. You think you know what you need, but here's the truth. You actually don't know what it is that you need. And the things that you think are going to be what are transformational for you are actually not the things that are going to be transformational for you. They would be things that you'd be more comfortable with, things that you're used to, things that make sense to you, things that would feel more familiar to you. But what got you where you are is not wanting to get you where it is that you want to go. You don't need more of the same. You need something different. And that different is what's going to care for the things in your blind spot in a way that brings about transformation and really empowers you. And it empowers you not only in your people skills in the workplace, your relational skills with your spouse, with your kids, with your friends, and having more meaningful relationships, more mature relationships in those contexts, navigating challenges in the workplace more skillfully because of the emotional intelligence that it develops, but also your ability just to enjoy life more.
Yes. You can take it in a different way. You're engaging other parts of your being that God wired into you that have been underutilized up to this point.
Like Jesus designed you for abundant life is what the scriptures tell us. And Nick, we talk about true happiness as our way of understanding that. It's a homeostatic state of peace and joy and satisfaction in life with hope for the future that your nervous system was wired for, that Jesus came that you could experience, but maturing and growing in all the different domains of your life is how you get there. And if you are lopsided, that is, you're super strong in some areas of your life, but super atrophied or weak in other areas of your life, it's going to cause you to hit a ceiling. Like there's a limit to what it is that you can achieve when you're not matured in a well-rounded sort of way. So I just, I want to encourage you, or encourage you can tag or send the alpha male in your life that needs to hear this, that to say that there's more out there than you can even imagine today. And it's going to take someone with some skill sets that are different than yours. And you don't know what it is that you need. And the journey and the process is going to be different than you would imagine it to be, and different than what it is that you think you need in order to achieve those results. So you're going to have to trust the process, even though it's going to be uncomfortable. And I think it does matter who you work with, right? I'm not saying that all counselors are the same, because all counselors are not the same. I'm saying that what you need is a skilled counselor that has a proven track record of getting things done, but may look different, sound different, maybe a different gender than you think you need in a counselor. And so, yeah, don't be afraid to lean into something that feels uncomfortable and different than maybe you thought it would look, maybe different than you thought you needed. I don't know. What else do you want to say to John?
I think guys in this lane are very, like, they take on challenges, they do hard things. Let me just state, like, this is not my lane. I am very much not an alpha. And so, I just maybe want to offer a challenge from somebody that's not an alpha and just say, don't let this be the thing that you don't tackle and accomplish. Like, this is so meaningful and will impact every relationship in your life in such a way, like, having benefited so much from it and seen both sides of it, I just could not overstate what an impact it has made in our marriage and in me watching every relationship that you have. It's really huge.
Yeah. Couldn't overstate it. Like, it's been totally transformational. I'm happier. I have peace. I have that joy. My relationships are healthy and strong. Yeah, like it's like magic, man. It is just what the Lord has done and how He has used my counselor to transform my life. Yeah, obviously, I'm a therapist. We started a therapy company. We're, pretty big advocates of it, but primarily because of the transformation that's happened in my own life as a result of it.
Right. We're such big advocates because we have personally experienced the power of it.
Yeah. So there's your challenge. There it is. Don't be a weenie in that. You got lots of areas of your life that you're crushing it in. Don't allow the areas that are in your blind spot to undermine your ability to enjoy that to its fullest and for the people around you to really get the best out of you. So that's what we got for you today. This episode, The Road to Happiness. Thanks for hanging out with us, being a part of the community. It's more fun when we learn together. Thanks again to my counselor online for making this possible. We'll see you in the next episode.